So you have this golden arc. Avali means rose, Prabha means glory. So it's to accentuate this murti, this icon. And in this Prabhavali, what else do you see? What else do you see in this golden arc? Designs, sure.
Yeah. I don't know if it's you.
Sure. There's a scary face on top. Looks like you. That face is of Kala. Kala means time. The idea being that everything outside of that arc, outside of that circle, is subject to time. And everything inside that circle or arc is not subject to time. And you see that face, it's fierce. The tongue is sticking out. To really bring to our attention that time is precious, that time is moving. Now if you think of your past week, if you think of today, you're busy, you know? Busier this year than last year. And next year you're going to be busier than this year. It's just the trend of society. It's just the nature of how we live. I got up at 3 o'clock and started traveling at 4:15. Now it's 11:45 Eastern time. Just busy. And in our busyness, we lack time. We lack the effort to invest in ourselves. When you're very busy, do you go to the gym? When you're very busy, do you do non-academic or non-professional reading? See, in our lack of time, we don't invest in ourselves, correct? And if you don't invest in yourself, you cannot invest in others. In other words, when we lack time, we lack empathy also. And when we don't make time for ourselves, when we don't make time for others, there's just noise outside. We're just doing. And that noise outside of just doing is no different than the noise inside, that all of our thoughts are functioning. I have to eat this, I have to meet this person, I have to plan for this, I have to think of the future. And those softer, subtler, deeper aspects of living are missed then. Who am I? Am I happy? What is my purpose? Being in nature, connecting with people. So a lack of time leads to a lack of investment in oneself, a lack of empathy in others. There's just noise, or there's just chaos. And so, we are extending our retreat from last year. What was the theme from last year? Finding your balance. And we're extending that because we thought deeply about the subject of finding balance, but there's more to think about. Or we've forgotten what we studied last year. Do you remember what chapter of Ramayana we studied last year? What did we study last year? Last year? We studied chapter 14 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I'm saying we're extending that. And we're simply rebranding this as finding calmness in chaos. The chaos is all that's outside of that circle. The calmness is what's inside. The chaos is the context. The calmness is the content. Everyone's flowing with me so far? When I was living in our ashram, it was October of 2005, and we had our first personal time with Pujya Swami Pejamu. And I was the last student to go and meet him because of my name. So imagine he's sitting here in this kutia, in his room, and I came and I sat on the ground, and he said, "So Vivek, what's on your mind?" And my first question was, "Swamiji, I've never lived in an ashram. I don't know anyone who's lived in an ashram, so I don't know if I'm living here rightly or wrongly." And he laughed and said, "If you were doing anything wrong, I would have told you." So phew, you know. He hasn't said anything thus far, so far so good. My next question was, how do I be a better student? I chose to come here. So please guide me on how to make better use of this opportunity. And he said, read the scriptures. They are a mirror to your personality. And when he said it, I smiled and nodded like, yeah, I understand, but I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he's just saying something poetic because I'm the last person, he may be tired, you know, say something cryptic and tell him to leave. But the more that I did think about our scriptures, the more I taught our scriptures, I realized that Prince Arjuna and myself are not different. You and I are not different. That really, our scriptures, our shastras, are a mirror to our personality. And specifically, when you go see a physician for your annual checkup, they check your BMI, your body mass index. And they tell you this is what your body mass index is, this is what your body mass index should be. And then they tell you, okay, so reconcile this difference. Eat less, exercise more. Right? They tell us that every year. So the same way, our scriptures show us how our mind is, how our personality is, and then show us how our mind and personality should be, and then how to reconcile that difference. And this year, when we complete chapter 14 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we're going to study a significant section on how a perfect person lives. How we should be. And then in detail, how we can be like that. Our shastras are an instruction manual. Today we were talking about Cupertino. What is the most famous aspect of Cupertino? Apple, right? When you set up your Apple products, it has the Cupertino time zone there, like anyone lives in Cupertino. Right? So in New York or Hong Kong, they go Cupertino. When you buy an Apple product, you have an iPhone or you have an iPad or whatever, what comes with it? What comes with it? Instruction CD, who makes CDs anyway? Some form of instructions. How you read those instructions, who knows? Who made those instructions? Google. Apple made the Apple instructions, right? Because Apple's the created and this product is creation. So now you tell me, did you create yourself? Did you create Big Bear Lake? This is all creation. And if there's creation, there has to be a creator of that creation. Our shastras, our scriptures, are an instruction manual on how to make the best use of the opportunity we have. An instruction manual. Now the sad part is, when do you look at an instruction manual? When something's broken or about to break, correct? Then we look at, don't we do that with our lives also? When there's no empathy inside or outside, then I think I need to come to a retreat. Our instruction manual is trying to teach us to be deeper. To go past how we look. To go past how we feel. So right now, all of you look okay. I don't know if you feel okay though. You were sitting in a car for a long time and you had to eat a relatively quick dinner, you still have to unpack. But that's just a feeling. You can be whoever you want right now. You can be powerful right now, you can be miserable. Context can influence you if you allow context to influence you, no? How many of you are happy right now? Unhappy? I know some of you are. Teaching us to be deeper, to go past how you look, past how you feel. I read a report from Northwestern University that shared people who talk about the weather, people who talk about politics. In their talks, they're clearer about the subject, but not as fulfilled. Whereas when they talk about ideas, when they talk about history or plans, the subject is not as clear. Do you know what's going to happen 10 years from now, or why this person did this? Not as clear, but people are more fulfilled. So the deeper you go, the more fulfillment you get to experience. This is our relationship with Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now I told you that we're studying chapter 14. And in chapter 14, Bhagavan Krishna, the creator, he is talking about the gunas. Gunas are qualities. Creation has all sorts of qualities. Some of these qualities make us lazy, some of these qualities make us aggressive, some of these qualities make us calm. Such as, what time should you sleep each night? What time? You can't hear, you're all mumbling because you don't want to be open. What time?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. you should sleep. You should sleep at 9 p.m. In other words, so you're almost there, 8 minutes. We should sleep at 9 p.m. Because from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. is when the intellect, our most powerful equipment, is most weak. So we can't decide properly. We cannot think properly. At 3 a.m., our intellect is most powerful. And you can analyze and you can envision most strongly. So you see, time is made up of quality. The day is made up of quality. Food is made up of quality. We are made up of qualities. So our Creator is saying, yes, this is how creation is. However, you have to go deeper than these qualities. You have to go past the goodness. But how do you go deeper? By knowing how these qualities work and then using them to go deeper. If you're walking bare feet outside, or even in here, you may get a piece of wood that's stuck in your feet. So often what you do if you have a thorn in your foot, what do? You take another thorn to remove that, and you dispose of both thorns, correct? So here we have all of these qualities, tamas, rajas, sattva. We have to use sattva to purge ourselves of all of these qualities, to reach the Creator, to reach our nature. So this is chapter 14. In a very simple, okay? So Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a mirror to your personality. I was speaking at PNC Bank recently, for those who are familiar with that corporation. And I spoke on emotional intelligence to around 75 people. And I asked them, when you travel to a hotel, what do you see in the bathroom that you typically don't see in your home bathroom? And definitely not the bathroom here. What do you see in a hotel bathroom that's unique? Towel. You don't see them in your home bathroom? Just stand there. You see lots of towels there, okay? Yes? Plastic, okay? So
soaps, all the
I don't know what kind of bathroom you have. I have soap in my Think more fixtures.
You see flowers sometimes.
Flowers.
Posters.
hair dryer.
You see a makeup mirror. You know those extendable makeup mirrors? You don't really see those in people's homes. So what do people do as soon as they see that makeup mirror? Put a towel on it. Because it magnifies your skin so much. I don't want to see I don't want to see those scars or where I miss where I shaved or whatever it is, isn't it? That's why a lot of people are scared to study the scriptures. Because it shows us really how distracted we are. And we also don't want to see how our mind can be because we have to work towards that, right? But a mirror. The way that we look in the mirror in the bathroom, we should look at our Srimad Bhagavad Gita the same way. And in chapter 14, these qualities are brought up. Everything is made of these qualities. Such as alcohol, oil, milk. Alcohol is a tamasic liquid. It makes you lazy. It's a downer. At a psychological level, alcohol is a downer. Oil, spices, it's like an aggressive liquid. It makes you sweat. It makes you breathe faster, right? You can't taste what you're eating. Milk, water, those are sattvic liquids. They help to nourish the body. You need milk at a certain age. You definitely need water. So it doesn't affect your thinking. It keeps the thinking clear. So now that you know this, what should you drink? Spicy alcohol. You know what to drink so you can understand these qualities. You can go deeper into who you are. Now, last year we began our study with shloka 10, verse 10. And we took up 8 verses, 10 through 17. And I felt that the subject was incomplete. We needed to study more. So this year, we're going to take up verse 18 to the end, 18 to 27. But before we do that, I am going to review all of what we studied last year. You're welcome. Whether you're here or not, you're welcome. So please try to tune into this because it'll help set the pace for our new study that will begin tomorrow morning. In shloka 10, verse 10, Bhagavan Krishna says these gunas. What's the English word for guna? Quality. What's another English word for guna? Traits. Virtue, character. Think very literally. You're missing the literal. Rope. Guna also means rope. These qualities are like rope. Sometimes they pull you up, sometimes they pull you down, sometimes they pull you left, right. They're always making us move. So Bhagavan Krishna says that these gunas affect you. And if you want to understand this in a historical sense, what is one of the most misinterpreted aspects of Sanatana Dharma? Misinterpreted. Caste system. Where this word caste came from, I have no idea. What is the Sanskrit word? This comes in chapter 4, 10 chapters earlier. It's called Varna. What does Varna mean? Color. Varna does not mean caste, it means color. And it's called Vyavastha. Vyavastha means an order. So it's a color order or a color system. But this word avastha means that which comes and goes. It's called the Jagrat avastha, correct? The waking state comes and goes. Like beginning of discourse, Jagrat avastha. As discourse goes on, then dream kicks in, sleep kicks in, discourse over, back to waking state. In the same way, sometimes we are very calm. You check your Fitbit, it's only at 51, You're barely alive. Sometimes aggressive, like driving. If you're driving a van, you're not aggressive. But if you're driving other vehicles, right? Maybe. Sometimes so lazy. Like you have no reason to be lazy, but you're feeling lazy. Like you're so lazy you can't even press stop on Netflix when it says next episode's coming on in 10 seconds. Oh, it's right. And why this is important to note is that when you use the word caste, you're fixing who that person is. Bhagavan Krishna, he says, I created the color system for you to classify you. For you to understand you and to grow up. But what did we do? We took that and we put it on others. And we told them, you are fixed like this. Nobody here is fixed in a certain way. So please remember that these ropes are always pulling us in different directions. In shloka 11, Bhagavan Krishna says, which rope should we try to hold on to the most? Which rope? Which quality? Sattva. Now think of this word. Kartritva. Tva means like a doer. Bhoktartva, like a deserver. Sattva. What does sat mean? Existence, truth, nobility. Sattva is that quality that helps you tune into the truth, helps you to be noble. Bhagavan says, with sattva, when you have this quality of calmness, your thoughts are more clear, your words are more clear, your actions are more clear. When you are clear, you see the world as it is, and not the way that you are coloring the world. With sattva, you get to see God's world instead of the ego's world. With sattva. What does vipassana mean? Have any of you participated in a vipassana retreat? Vipassana is a Buddhist term. It's a Buddhist vision that means to see the world as it is. And their notion is that when you go deeper into yourself, you stop projecting. Vipassana comes from the Sanatana Dharma word of Vairagya. Vairagya means without color. When you don't color the world, what do you see? The world as it is. So Vipassana is Vairagya, but just called differently and practiced with a different label. So I'm sharing with all of you. That's all coming from here. Sattva. In shloka 12, Bhagavan doesn't discuss sattva, but he discusses rajas. Rajas means to be aggressive. What are some signs of someone who's aggressive? An aggressive personality. How do you see them behave? They are angry. Very good. What else? Dominant. Impatient.
Restless.
Restless. Distracted, distracting. Yes, keep going. I'm looking for another key. Feeling.
Agitated.
Rajas.
Passion.
Okay, let me go back. I'll make this. Try to make this simpler. Anger. That everyone got right away. Anger is an effect, and if you can really tune into this, we all have anger management problems. We may never have met, but I can tell you, yes, we have anger management problems. If you can understand this sequence, I feel you'll know the secret on how to transcend anger. Anger is an effect. Where does anger come from? What's the cause?
Desire.
The immediate cause for anger.
Fear.
Fear. Anger comes from fear. Think. Imagine next year's retreat we do at Disneyland. Okay? Courtesy of Chinmaya Mission Los Angeles. So, if there's a roller coaster at Disneyland, and this roller coaster will last 45 seconds, how many of you will go on the roller coaster? 45-second roller coaster. How many of you are going on? Okay. Suppose that day, it's Memorial Day weekend, so they have a special. The roller coaster will be 4.5 minutes long. It'll just go around and around and around. How many of you are going on? 4.5 minutes. And yeah, there's always some people who think they're tougher than they are, yes. Suppose you're on that 4.5-minute roller coaster, but really, they forgot a decimal place. They really meant 45 minutes. All of a sudden, that fear turns into anger, doesn't it? See, fear is only fun if you know it's going to end. But if you don't know fear is going to end, it just turns into anger. So anger comes from fear. Now, fear is an effect. What is the cause of fear? Expectation. We're not there yet. Attachment. Fear comes from attachment. If I'm attached, I'm afraid of not getting what I want or of losing. So attachment, fear, anger. Where does attachment come from? Not there yet. Projection. So desire, expectation, but I'm going to use the word projection. Where does projection come from? Incompleteness. When I feel incomplete, I project a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is going to make me complete. Then I get attached. I need to have it. And I'm afraid that someone else is going to take it. So I get angry. So incompleteness, projection, attachment, fear, anger. Let's change them into Sanskrit words because you already know this. Incompleteness is avidya. Projection is vikshepa. Attachment is raga. Fear is bhaya. And anger is krodha. So Bhagavan Krishna is saying here, all of this sequence from incompleteness all the way to anger is because of rajas. When we are aggressive, we are extrovert. See how we go outside? Projection, attachment, fear, anger. But for someone who has clarity, they know that peanut butter sandwich is not going to complete them. They know that praise is not going to complete them. They're not extrovert. They are inward looking. There's clarity. Then we go to our favorite guna. This comes out in shloka 13. Tamas. Which is to be lazy. Tamas is darkness inside. What's favorite yogasana? Shavasana, correct? Now think about this. Asana means posture or position. What does Shava mean? Corpse. Like, how can you be more tamasic than a corpse? But see how we have that inclination. I just spent 40 minutes in practicing yogasanas. Which ones? Opening prayers and Shavasana. How Bhagavan Krishna describes this is someone who is tamasic doesn't think. If you don't think, you don't act. If you don't act, you don't care. You don't think, you don't act, you don't care. We're all interdependent, right? So I need to act out of care for you. You need to act out of care for me. You don't pay your taxes, but I do. That's not fair. You don't clean your plate, but I do. That's not fair. We're interdependent. We have to think, we have to act, we have to care. And I don't know if you remember, for this shloka, I described some famous family members from our scriptures. Which family members did I bring up to explain tamas? Other than your family members. Yes, good. I brought up Vibhishana, Ravana, and Kumbhakarna. Now, let's think about it. Vibhishana means the one without fear. Vibhishana wears, to my understanding, white clothes. Vibhishana is someone whose primary quality is sattva. Then we went to his brother, Ravana. Ravana means the one who roars. You know, someone who's aggressive is always roaring. Who knows why they're roaring? But roaring, you know, loudspeakers. I know one young adult, you also know him, but I'm not going to tell you his name. But he doesn't know what an inside voice is. So I told him, every time you use your outside voice inside, you owe me $10. And if you ever have an outside voice inside and there's another Acharya around other than me, it's $100. So he became very careful about that, but he's just so much righteous that he doesn't know that you have to speak quieter when you're inside. So Ravana, and he tended to wear red clothes, aggressive. His wife was so beautiful. Mandodari means the one who has a soft belly. Soft here means not like my soft belly. Soft like slim, beautiful. So where were his eyes? On a woman that he's never even seen before. He's only going on gossip. Isn't that fascinating? And who's telling him this gossip? His sister's name is Shurpanakha. That means the one with nails that are as long as a sieve. You know, farmers use those sieves. Would you take any solid understanding for someone who has nails like that? And he's willing to forsake his own wonderful wife because of that rajas. And then you have Kumbhakarna. Karna means ears. Kumbha means pot. That he had pot-like ears. And many people think, okay, he had big ears. Yeah, he did have big ears. I also have big ears, but I'm not Kumbhakarna. His pot was closed to the inside. Which means nothing got in. You know, if I had a pot here, nothing can go in then. If it's this way, it's good. He tended to wear black, which is a sign of tamas. Someone who's lazy doesn't learn. That's why I said they don't think, they don't act, they don't care. If you're not learning about yourself and the world and your creator, that's being tamasic. So Bhagavan says these qualities are pulling us all the time. Sattva pulls us up, Rajas pulls us to the sides, Tamas pulls us down. Bhagavan says in shloka 14, he says, upon death, when we die, based on the quality of our thoughts, our words, our actions, that sets the trajectory for where we will be born again. Now, why death is brought up? Please understand, death is symbolic of change. Death is symbolic of change. It's really a phenomenal aspect of change is death. You know what Swami Tejumayana shared? He said we're actually not afraid of death. He said we're afraid of detachment. Imagine we all died with our family and friends and stuff. Would anyone be afraid of death then? It would be awesome. We'd have a new body, correct? We'd be stronger. We're not afraid of death. We're afraid of leaving that which is comfortable. So that's why in our Shastras, death is brought up for us to step outside of our comfort zone. And tomorrow, I have a nice rad for you. You know what a rad is? A reflection adventure of the day. Private one, because it's just all of us, which I'll give you tomorrow. But anyways, I'm coming back. I facilitated a Deva satsang recently. So I'll tell you something funny about this Deva satsang, and then I'll tell you the serious aspect. What does Deva mean? Divine. It's in a male context. And then you have Devi, divine in a female context. So in our London center, we started a Deva satsang, which is very unique because we have lots of Devi satsangs. And Devas keep saying, you know, we should do retreats, we should do satsangs, but they just say it, they never organize it. But in London, they actually did it. I was so impressed that these group of men really put in the effort to have satsang just for them. So we did a management series. The management series began with intellectual intelligence, then emotional intelligence, and we recently finished with spiritual intelligence. So on the first day, there's a group of 15 men and I. We're getting into intellectual intelligence. We're at a university. And the door opens and this girl walks in. And she sits down at the same table as all of us. And we know her. And all of us kind of pause because, like, what do you do in this circumstance? Right? She came for satsang and so on. And everyone was just a good sport. So we continued with our satsang. And at the end of the workshop, and I know her, I said, what are you doing here? And she goes, I got this email that said, Deva satsang, and I don't know what Deva meant, so I just saw satsang, so I came. She's not of Indian origin, so she doesn't know what Deva means. She only saw satsang, so she came. I was pretty happy, you know, that's a nice attitude then. Who cares about those limits? In our last Deva satsang, we actually went through a planned death. That if you have 3 months to live, how would those 3 months look? And as you know, this death is going on, you have to keep on letting go of articles and circumstances and beings, specific, you know, this sister or this parent. And it really teaches you the art of dying. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us the art of dying. There's some depth to this. When people used to go to Swami Chinmaya and say, such and such person died, what would his first remark be? If someone says that such and such person dies, our first remark is, how did they die, correct? His first remark was, how did they live? That death is incidental, and it's done. But more important than how they died is, how did they live? Because how they live will determine how they die, correct? So our Shastras bring in death as a symbol of change, bring in death to teach us the art of living. So here what Bhagavan is showing us is the way that we think and speak and act today will affect tomorrow. So be careful. Be vigilant. Try your best today so that tomorrow there's more clarity. Okay? In shloka 15, Bhagavan says, if you die with sattva in your personality, you will go to the highest realms. Now when we talk about the highest realms. Externally that may be true, but internally that really means the deepest realms. Highest outside, deepest inside. You have to understand both of those directions. He says if you die with rajas, aggression in your thoughts and words and actions, when you die, or tomorrow, you will become more worldly. See, a worldly person tends to be rajasic. If I'm rajasic today, how am I going to be tomorrow? More rajasic. We all think that I'm unhappy today, but tomorrow I'm going to be happy. Really? How's that going to happen? I meet a lot of young adults, and specifically their parents, who if that young adult is not so happy, what is their parents' advice to them on how to be happy? No. Specifically Indian parents. Get married, see? He's unhappy, that's right. See, I find that some Indian parents think, okay, this girl is relatively unhappy and this boy is relatively unhappy. And together, they'll become absolutely happy, correct? It's not math. 2 negatives don't make a positive. It's a relationship. Relative unhappiness and relative unhappiness leads to absolute unhappiness. So that's the idea, is that we think I'm aggressive today and tomorrow I'm going to be calm. That's not going to happen. You have to practice. Whatever you practice today, you're going to become tomorrow. And at a tamasic level, if I'm lazy in my thinking, speaking, acting, and I die, what will I be like tomorrow? And this is more relevant to all of us. One of the words to describe tamas is ignorance. What's worse than ignorance? Being apathetic. See, if she has a problem, and I'm ignorant of her problem, I can't do anything because I don't know she has a problem, right? But if I know she has a problem and I still don't help, that's apathy, isn't it? So now all of us, we studied last year, I'm already reviewing this year. For us to still be tamasic today, knowing that tomorrow will be like that, that's just apathy. Apathy, I don't think, I don't act, I don't care. Shloka 16, Bhagavan summarizes 14 and 15. I had read in one place, what is the best commentary on Srimad Bhagavad Gita? Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan introduces the subject, explains the subject, and then summarizes the subject. It's amazing. This chapter especially. So in 14 and 15 he says, if you die, you will go deeper into you, or become more worldly, or become apathetic. Now he changes the words. He says, if you practice calmness, you will develop virtues. What are some virtues that come with calmness? When you are calm, what virtues do you display? Shanti, yes, peace.
Patience.
Patience. Yes, you're careful. What else?
Love.
Now give me more practicality. When you're calm.
Focus.
Focus. Come on. Yes, too deep. I'm looking more surface. You don't need to study as much because you remember what's being taught. You don't need Google Maps as much because you're paying attention to while you're driving. You remember people's names. You don't lose your cell phone or keys. Right? There's so much that comes with being calm. Today, when I was flying from Buffalo to Chicago to Los Angeles, and the airline hostesses, They're talking about if the plane lands in water, if the plane's on fire. Did they go, if it's burning, everyone run and go crazy, right? Stay calm, exit the plane. If people lose that calmness, they're going to hurt each other. So there's so many virtues are developed. If you're rajasic, if you're aggressive, you develop virtues and vices. Both come. If someone is aggressive, you get virtues and vices, so really it gets nullified, right? I'm very patient as long as I get something back. See, it's cancelled out. And if you're tamasic, you only develop vices. When we're lazy, our health becomes poor, our hygiene becomes poor. Like a gamer. With a gamer, you don't have to interact with anyone, right? My friends are virtual. That means you don't have friends. Let me translate that for you. See, if you have to interact with people, you have to brush your teeth, correct? You actually have to look into their eyes and laugh, even if it's a fake laugh, not just LOL in capitals. So that we just become more vice-oriented. And the last shloka we studied last year, shloka 17. The same idea is brought up, but different terms are used now. If you practice calmness, you will become more. Starts with a C. Everybody wants this, everybody needs this. More? Content, good? Confident. The more clear you are, the more confident you are. So now, when people are driving from Big Bear Lake back to Los Angeles, there's not as much clarity, correct? So there's not as much confidence and speed as you're driving. But if it was totally bright outside, a lot of clarity, a lot of confidence. If you practice aggression, then it's not confidence that you invoke, it's confusion. I'm confused, and here's where most of us are. We are awesome academically. We are awesome professionally. But still, we find it difficult to go to sleep at night. Even more difficult to wake up. Because that confidence isn't there. That I'm doing the right thing. That there's purpose to what I'm doing. Isn't it? So many of our young adults, and I mean so many, and I know many of you, academically, you blow me out of the water. Like, I just don't, the degrees, I can't spell the degrees that you have. Like, I don't understand what you study and how you work. I don't understand any of that culture. But you're not as happy as I am. Which makes me think, what is the point of those degrees and those careers? The things that we need in life, health and sleep and love, you can't get them in university. You can't get them in work. I'm not saying don't go to university or go to work. What I'm sharing is that aggression, which is worldliness, just creates confusion. People come to such retreats out of two mindsets. The rare person comes to such a retreat out of inspiration. They're being proactive. Typically, why do people come to such retreats or come to religion? Out of desperation. It's reactive. I met one nephrologist who told me every Indian male is a diabetic, unless told otherwise. In other words, their trajectory is to be diabetic. Biggest thing, back in the day, everyone worked on the farm. Who works on a farm now? But we still eat like we work on a farm, correct? And I know my own family, my father, my mama, my fufadi, like my uncles, when did they start going to the gym? They found out they had diabetes. See how reactive that is? What should have been done is they should have gone to the gym before where they got diabetes. And for someone who's practicing tamas, laziness, they don't invoke confidence, they don't invoke confusion, all they invoke is complacency. I'm just going to bring this into context. What is the difference between succumbing and accepting? Difference between succumbing and accepting.
Letting it happen versus like allowing it to happen.
Okay?
How do you control it versus not?
Okay? Okay? Good enough. Succumbing is, this is who I am, and I'm not going to change. Accepting is, this is who I am, and I'm going to try to change. For someone who's lazy, do they succumb or do they accept? They succumb. This is who I am. I'm not going to change. This is what we studied last year. And so my thought to all of you, based on last year, is, what do you want? What do you want your personality to be like? What do you want your life to be like? This is up to you. It is not up to the city you live in. It is not your office. It is not your family. All that we described is you. You know, I brought up examples of daytime and food. But you can be, at 9 p.m., you can be very vigilant if you have strong software. Isn't it? At 3 a.m. you can be very dull if you have weak software. When you buy a system, you're not really buying the hardware, it's the software that's more valuable. That's what the real power to a machine is. Who gets paid more, blue-collar workers or white-collar workers? White-collar workers, because they're getting paid to think. What do you want? Is what Bhagavan Krishna is asking all of us. In our question and reflection period earlier in the day, I was sharing with everyone, you have to have knowledge to benefit. And I gave the example of, if someone is in Los Angeles, but they don't know they're in Los Angeles, they do not know that, but they are in Los Angeles, then they don't go to Disneyland, they don't go to Universal Studios, they don't go to Hollywood, they don't go to Beverly Hills, they don't go to the Staples Center, and on and on and on. Because they don't know they're in Los Angeles. But if you know you're in Los Angeles, then you go to Rameshwaram, right? Oh, this is Los Angeles, I know our ashram is here. I can go to the center, right? Not that anyone thinks that, but they should think that. So many times, people come to Niagara Falls and they don't know that we have an ashram in Niagara Falls. Because they think Niagara Falls is Clifton Hill. Or you buy caramel corn and you buy mugs that say this mug is too expensive, but I got it in Niagara Falls. See, you have to know to benefit. And if you don't know, you cannot benefit. So, we, in our study of creation is made up of these qualities, now that you know this, adapt. Adapt the food you eat. Adapt the friends that you keep. Adapt the books you read. Adapt the way that you think. The fact that you're here today, and it's past, it's almost 9:30, and none of you are sleeping yet. That shows that you do have knowledge and that you are adapting. So good for all of you for knowing what's important. That is very CHYK. Chinmaya Mission. Kendra means environment. Yuva means those who are younger. Chinmaya means knowledge. Chinmaya also means awareness. So in this group of younger people, we're trying to be more aware of what's important. We're trying to have the knowledge of creation, the knowledge of the Creator to benefit by this. CHYK. CHIC is, you know, like that French word that's like fashionable? How do you pronounce that? Chic, right? So if I said that's very chic, that would have been worked also, right?
Yeah.
That's very chic or that's very chic. What if we repronounced chic into chick? Right? That's very chic. That would be like our theme for this retreat. That's very chic.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.